All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thanks so much for joining us. As I say, wherever you are watching from, and if you're taking a look at the title, you'll know that we have a great guest on tap for you guys. But first and foremost, I just want to, wish everyone, today being September 3rd, wish everyone a awesome National Cinema Day. If you guys are not aware, just know that you have an opportunity to go to the movies for $3 today, all day today, Saturday in the U.S. So just be aware of that. I have the link down below. So if you want to put in your zip code of places that are participating in National Cinema Day, be sure to check that out. But without further ado, I want to welcome the guests that we have on today. They are the producer of the sci-fi thriller known as The Alternate, which you saw in the picture just before you saw my face. It's my pleasure to welcome Jeff Allard. Let me bring him on. Jeff, how you going? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. Good morning from
Absolutely.
California. It's
Absolutely.
early, Saturday.
And I appreciate you coming on. So first and foremost, just talking about the film's beginnings and getting involved, with the project. Talk a bit about that process of your involvement with this project.
Sure, sure. So I'm a San Francisco Bay Area resident. We shot this literally in my backyard. We actually shot it partially at my house and my good friend from high school's house, Tony Delamorte, who's a executive producer on the film. So Ulrich Purcell, the director of the movie, is also a Bay Area resident. I was introduced to him back in 2017 through my attorney, George Rush, and he's been trying to get this movie done for many years, and so he reached out to me. I've had a good track record getting movies in development, from development all the way through production and distribution, and we're able to cobble together the money. We did this very low budget. As I mentioned, we shot this mostly half the time at my house. We converted my garage into a studio, and then we shot the practical location at my neighbor's house. And it was just a Bay Area endeavor, man. It was just shot all in this area. It was great to be able to sleep in my home, although I housed a lot of crew here. And one of the cardinal sins: don't ever shoot at your own house. And I tried to hold to that, but I caved in, and it was worthwhile though. But never again.
Absolutely. And one thing that I want to, speak on is just that idea, you're no stranger to this, in being a producer and kind of being aware of trends that wax and wane, so to speak, throughout cinema. And one thing that seems to be kind of like a major thing that is happening a lot within cinema is just the idea of parallel universes and alternate universes. So, and we're seeing, I feel like in all pockets of pop culture, whether it's on the corner of the superhero side, of what we're seeing with a lot of those films, of what we have with, Star Trek, where we have, the mirror universe, which has existed for, ever since for quite a while. But, now that we have a current iteration of the show that is, on the air, that has been, a plot point as well. So, you know, in speaking to that, or with thinking of that, what do you pick? What do you believe is the fascination, that intrinsic fascination that audiences have of like parallel universes or alternate dimensions of things of that nature?
Sure, sure. So Ulrich, Ulrich, who directed this and wrote the script, he had this in his mind for quite a while, and he originally did a short with a similar topic, and he realized it couldn't be done this way, with the budget constraints that we all work with, and he ultimately decided to write a story a little bit about himself. This is it wasn't all about the alternate universe. It became that, but he said, I'm going to write something about myself, and what is the evil side of me that I, might want to be, or currently am, and may want to change into, or whatever. And this is kind of his life story, actually, is him being a up and coming filmmaker, struggling to achieve, that goal of making his first feature film, and then seeing the alternate universe in which he's successful. And this is kind of a bit of a parallel in his life without the evil side of him, being where he was and achieving alternate Jake's life. And that's where the story came from. And that's what fascinated him about it. And it, also happens to be that was something that's being done quite a bit now too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And delving deeper to that, same question is just that idea of what if, of what if I took this left turn instead of taking this right turn, or how might my life have turned out had this happened? Would you say that that is also from your perspective something that also adds to that fascination that folks seem to have with that concept and that idea?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think we all think about that. I think about that as well. I made this turn from banking, finance into film production. I always wonder, well, if I wasn't there at the right time, and didn't go to college, and one of my college buddies created the Bachelor TV series, and he and I did our first movie together. What if? So absolutely. I think that's a fascination that we all have. And I'll also say, I've had some questions about what would happen if this, if you discovered a portal, what would you do? And I'm kind of conservative. I would have actually brought in some expertise and and not, I might have checked the other side briefly, but I would have brought in the scientists to figure out what was going on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, at the top of the interview, you were, commenting on how much of a passion project this was, of,
Mhm.
even going so far as to even having the use of your home to make sure this film got made, and even with those near to you as well, with your neighbor. So, in speaking to that, can you, talk to the efforts that were made? Because in watching the film, I'm aware of this, of being on the other side of it, is, how pricey even the most mundane elements of filmmaking can be, exceedingly expensive. And knowing that, you guys did not have a lot of resources in order to, get this film made, it doesn't show as that, when you're watching the film, it looks really good. So, in talking to that, can you speak to like that process of making the efforts to have, despite the limitations that you guys had, to have it look, have the presentation that it has?
Yeah, sure. So, I've produced over 20 movies, including two of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Of course.
And I've done some of the larger budget movies, but for the most part, I deal with lower budget movies. But I'll tell you that this was the lowest budget movie I've ever produced. I invested in it. We crowdfunded. We did it really cheaply. I cooked a little bit. I had one of my best friends self cater the movie. We're housing people here. We did this on a 20-day shoot, so basically over a month. And of course it rained on us, even though we're in this drought. When we shot this a couple of years ago, we just had torrential downpours. So we're really dealing with numerous challenges. The money is so difficult. Most people can make a movie, but raising the capital is the hardest part. And I'll tell you, what we did was we really, it was a passion project. We called in our friends, our family to help support. The crew gave us, we paid them a living wage barely, but they gave us 100%. We had a lot of donations on equipment, and we still had a crew of 35 people. And so I'll tell you, we just had to be super resourceful. And a lot of us that worked on it, rather than being compensated, basically the producers, the director, myself, uh, took equity in the film. And so far, we got picked up for worldwide distribution. So we're really excited about that.
Outstanding, outstanding. And in having this film now making its way to digital and DVD, I'm sure that it's always a constant constant thing of not just kind of making sure that the current film that you have is getting eyes in front of it, but also constantly developing for other things. So, are you able to comment on some things that are currently gestating right now that you are doing, or
Yeah,
are you
absolutely.
taking a break now with
No,
other
no.
problems? Like, what
So
are you talking about? A
yeah,
break?
no. In this business, and I've been lucky to distribute about a movie and a half every year. I have 10 to 15 projects in the hopper, and one of those will hopefully get done every year. I shot a movie in November with Devin Sawa. We have XYZ, who's our sales agent. That'll be coming out next year. We're going to release it at AFM in November. But I have a couple of projects that look real promising. I'm working on a political campaign drama we're going to shoot here in the Bay Area. We just signed Kira Sedgwick, Sung Kang from Fast and Furious, Mustafa Sharif, Suniqua Martin Green. So that one I think is next to come up, but I'm also just about to go out to market on a capital raise for a thriller as well. And we're in the early stages on that, putting our pitch deck together. And of course, I've got a dozen other projects that are in various stages, early development, still looking for capital. So lots of projects going on. Who knows what's going to be next? Hopefully we got something coming up later this year or early next.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you, so much, hopping in on the show on a Saturday morning, to talk the alternate releases on DVD and on digital on September 6th. Let me pull that up
And
here.
it changed to September 13th. That was kind of a
Oh, okay.
little
All right.
snafu.
So
September
update. There you
13th.
go. Gotcha. All right. Well, with that being said, Jeff, thank you so much for hopping on. As I said before, I let you go. Can you tell folks where they can find you?
Where they can find what the movie?
Well, the movie, but as well, you as well, social media,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, absolutely. Just follow me on Instagram at Jeffrey Allard, and I'll follow you back. And you can, I post a lot of stuff about my film business, so you can see what's going on.
All right, awesome. Well, there you guys have it. Again, I want to thank Jeff Allard from coming on and talking to Alternate. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there, and see you soon.
All right, thanks for having me. All right, bye.
Absolutely.